Hi, people of America. I believe it is time to give a stern rebuke to one of the people's servants. Now, before I explain who and for what, I will walk you through the law to show you the duties and obligations our government is bound to. First of all, I will show you where the people's position is in the law. Texas Constitution, Article 1, text of Section 2. All political power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their benefit. The faith of the people of Texas stand pledged to the preservation of a republican form of government, and subject to this limitation only, they have at all times the inalienable right to alter, reform, or abolish their government in such manner as they may think expedient. The people, and not our government officials, hold all the political power, and government is to benefit the people as they execute their duties and obligations of the trusts. The trusts are the 50 state and 1 United States Constitution. Next, let's see what the government's position is within our states and nation. Keep in mind, the federal government officials agreed to the state constitutions, and the state officials agreed to the United States Constitution when they take their oath or take the seats and the positions the people created. Virginia Constitution, Article 1, text of Section 2, that all power is vested in and consequently derived from the people, that magistrates are their trustees and servants and at all times amenable to them. So every government official in the judicial, executive, and legislative branches are mere trustees and servants. They are not kings and queens. They are not masters. They are not leaders. They are not superstars. They are only trustees and servants whom have duties and obligations which are outlined in the constitutions, and they are at all times accountable to the people. The following will show what the main duty of the government is. Alabama Constitution, Article 1, text of Section 35. That the sole object and only legitimate end of government is to protect the citizen in the enjoyment of life, liberty, and property, and when the government assumes other functions, it is a usurpation and oppression. If the main duty and obligation of those in government is to protect the people's life, liberty, and property, then this is the measure by which we compare all our government actions to. The fundamental principles of law, called maxims, explains the fundamentals in regards to justice. Justice is neither to be denied nor delayed. If one is keeping the people who have been harmed without receiving justice or with delay of justice, they wouldn't be adhering to fundamental principles of law. 68J. Justice is double: punishing severely and truly preventing. You must punish criminals severely to provide those whom have been harmed justice and prevent others from committing the same crimes. 51Q. A frequent reoccurrence to fundamental principles and a firm adherence to justice, virtue, and original law are indispensably necessary to preserve the blessings of liberty and good government. The only way we can keep a good government is to ensure a firm adherence to justice. What are the people to do if government fails to perform their duties and obligations? Let's see what the law says. Virginia Constitution, Article 1, text of Section 3. The government is or ought to be instituted for the common benefit, protection, and security of the people, nation, or community. Of all the various modes and forms of government, that is best which is capable of producing the greatest degree of happiness and safety, and is most effectually secured against the danger of maladministration. And whenever any government shall be found inadequate or contrary to these purposes, a majority of the community hath indubitable, inalienable, and indefeasible right to reform, alter, or abolish it in such manner as shall be judged most conducive to the public will. Therefore, when government fails to perform, when they show themselves to be inadequate, such as our hands are tied or there is nothing else we can do. It is considered maladministration, and even at the mere danger of maladministration, that means it might or could happen, the people can reform, alter, or abolish their government, the positions, or the officials in those positions. Now, you might ask yourself or have heard that reform, alter, or abolish is an antiquated remedy that is no longer used. There are other ways, and don't bother with the words in the law. But to that I say, if government officials take an oath to serve and protect the constitutions, why or how could it be irrelevant? How can it be law in one instance and not law in another? Kind of strange, isn't it? Having explained to you the law as it refers to the government, their main duty and obligations towards the people, and their need to adhere to justice, we must address the main issue at hand. If Jeffrey Epstein trafficked many American people, then those people were harmed. Thus, their right to life, liberty, and property were violated. That is a criminal act. That is a felony. In addition, many of these people which were harmed were not of age. Therefore, they had parents whom were also harmed. If trustee Donald Trump, servant Donald Trump, President Donald Trump is choosing to ignore the people, ignore his masters, ignore the beneficiaries of the 51 trusts, ignore his main duty and obligations, and not look for and prosecute the clients, then he is choosing to commit maladministration.